So you may notice that it's a little bit dimmer. This is the big solar eclipse. It's actually after the big solar eclipse. And I'll show you a little bit of footage of it, but it was a real nothing burger, to be honest. So I sat out here the whole time. Well, not the whole time. I took clips, but then the last 15 minutes I sat out here and I recorded the whole thing, and nothing happened. It did get dimmer, significantly dimmer, and the chickens were quite upset, and the solar panels was remarkably less amps. And Carolyn noticed that the chicks inside, the little chicks that were developing inside the camper, you know, raising inside the camper, they all went to bed. Now, it's my understanding that animals react to the darkness and think it's time to go to bed. Well, our chickens didn't go to bed. They were just upset, just squawking the whole time. Or cackling, excuse me. I don't say it right, somebody's gonna get on me. They're much quieter now. Perhaps that little piece of footage I put up will have them make a noise, maybe you'll see it. But why would the chicks go to bed? They're inside with artificial light. But Carolyn suspects there's probably some sort of UVs or magnetic field reduction, who knows? Hard to say. But in that video I recorded that I have decided not to post because it was a real nothing burger. All day I've been reading about the end of the world as a result of this solar eclipse. So yesterday I made a video and I was talking about the New Madrid fault line here in Missouri. Earthquakes. In 1812, I found out today, is when it happened. And what it was is right before the big earthquakes. Now there were several earthquakes. Ended up being thousands of them, you know, smaller earthquakes, but I don't know, I forget how many. Don't quote me on all the numbers. I don't memorize pages. I don't write a script. I think it's more authentic. So when I say I don't remember, just know that I looked it up. So you don't have to copy the Google page and put it in my comment section. I don't need it, I already read it. So around 1806 or 1812 or whenever it was, we had a solar eclipse. Now, it's the same type of solar eclipse that we're having now, where there was one early and they made one cross and then across the United States and another one across the United States. Thomas Jefferson actually wrote about it, documented it. So it made an X through the state. And then shortly thereafter, a comet came through, and I think it's called Devil's Comet. I don't think that's a proper name, but that's what it was given. And the December after that was a earthquake in Missouri. Apparently several of them, several significant earthquakes. And I told you about that yesterday. I'll put it up next box at the end of this video to that video. There, that's their noise. That's what they're so upset about. But now they're upset at me because I'm sitting over here. They don't know what I am. So their conspiracies are that since it happened in 1812 or whenever it was, that it's going to happen again. Well, here's my theory about one-point data systems. So you only have a data point of one. It doesn't work. You can't do it. Is there life, other life in the universe? And the only answer you can give right now is, I don't know. But let's say we go to Europa, which is one of the Jupiter's moons, and the one I feel like there's probably life on because it's a big ocean. It's ice covered, but it's big ocean. You go down deep enough and the ice is actually warm because of the warping from Jupiter. It heats up the water. So I always suspect that there's probably life there. So if they discover life on Europa or anywhere, then the probabilities of life being abundant throughout the universe is massive. It's huge. But as for right now, there's no information. We only know of one planet that can support life. That's us. But conspiracy theorists don't need that kind of information. We've been, according to The conspiracy theories, we've been visited by aliens forever, and the government's covering it up, just like all the conspiracy theories. But no one ever provides any proof. That's because the government's holding it back. Look, if Farmer Bob found an alien in his backyard, don't you think he would take a picture of it? I would. And then I would try to get that out as quickly as possible. But this is how conspiracy theories work, is no matter what I say, somebody's going to say, aha, but. You know, conspiracy theories don't need any evidence. What conspiracy theorists want is that you prove to them that they're wrong. So it's like saying, I'm guilty until proven innocence. That means you have to prove your innocence. Well, there's times you can't just prove your innocence. Where were you at 11 p.m. on Friday? In my house. Who was with you? I was by myself. You're going to have to prove that. Well, how do you prove it? That's why in the United States, we're supposed to be called innocent until proven guilty. The prosecutor has to prove that you've done it. He has to find evidence that you were there at 11 p.m. on Friday doing the crime, not the other way around. But that's how conspiracy theories work, is they want you to prove that they're right. And no matter what you do, they got another argument why your proof isn't good enough. Got in a debate with a flat earther. And so I pulled up a video of a submarine sailing across the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean, when you're sailing across, it's just beautiful. And I've done it. It is beautiful. It's blue. It's just fantastic. And in the picture, you know, they're up in the sail. You can see the curvature of the Earth plainly. Oh, that picture was doctored. So now, not only did I have to prove that there is curvature on the Earth, I have to prove that the picture is not doctored. This is just how it works with conspiracy theorists. So today, we were told that today is the end of the planet. Government said that there was going to be, you know, they put out all kinds of warnings, and conspiracy theorists were telling us that this is the end of, and we're going to have earthquakes in December because that's what happened in 1812. Well, they're going with one data point. It happened in 1812, therefore it's going to happen again. They want me to prove that it's not going to happen again. There's not enough information for me to say one way or the other. But what I will say is it was kind of fun today, just sitting out in the yard, watching the place get dark, observing the chickens' behavior, getting frustrated because I couldn't get a good picture from the solar eclipse, which I'm going to show you right here. So it's 1:54, and according to my news page that I got here, it says that's the peak at 89%. Yet it still looks like a big full circle. That being said, there is significant shading, so I don't understand how this works. The last time I saw this, it was clear, and I was nowhere near the path last time in Virginia. But here I am in the path, and I don't see a thing. So we're surviving. I mean, I didn't hear any nuclear explosions. I didn't hear the planet crack apart. I didn't hear nothing happened. It got a little bit cooler and the chickens got riled up. They're not too happy about the shading. But the solar panels clearly said that we're shading, and that's about it. So I guess that's it. And then it was just a day. It was an enjoyable day. I didn't have to live in fear all day. I didn't have to sit here and worry that the end of the earth is going to happen. Look, there's something to say about, I don't want to say being prepared, but being self-reliant, being less reliant on other people. If something is going to go wrong, it's going to be because people messed it up. Let's say there is an earthquake and my house falls down. Okay, to me, that's no big deal. I mean, I'll be disappointed. I like my house. I built it. It's kind of a thing. I like it. But if it falls down, oh well. What difference does it make? I'll move into the camper if it's still around, and I'll go get a shed from Home Depot. I'm not going to build another one. It was a lot of work, and I don't want to do it again. So I'll go to shed from Home Depot, set it up, and I'll be up and living again. No problem. But if you're a conspiracy theorist or someone who lives in fear all the time, and you live in a $100,000, $500,000 home, whatever it is, and an earthquake knocks it down, let's say your insurance doesn't cover it. Well, now we have to live in fear. We have to be afraid. And so we feed off these conspiracy theories. And we say, oh, so-and-so who said there's going to be an earthquake, I got to be ready for that. Well, I don't have to be ready for anything. If there's an earthquake, I'll probably come outside, dodge the trees that are falling down so it doesn't kill me, and then assess the damage afterwards. Do I have food? Yep. Do I have water? Yep. Do I have shelter? Probably. And if not, let's say the camper and the house gets tore up. So my backup plan doesn't work. I'll just go find another camper somewhere. You know what saves me? Financial security, being debt-free, not owing anything. Heck, I can set up a tent out here if it's in the summertime. I can set, of course, it's going to be in December, so you know. But if it's in the summertime, I can set a tent up here and until we get things arranged. As long as I have this property. Oh, you can't have this property. The property is not yours because you pay taxes. The government owns it. You just rent it from them. Well, my taxes are $43. I'm pretty sure I can handle that without a lot of fear. Conspiracy theories, I mean, when you look it up, and the thing is, if you tell a conspiracy theorist this, I'm not psychotic, there's nothing wrong with me. It's you. You're not a critical thinker. What is so funny about folks who say they're critical thinkers with these conspiracy theories is they'll come out and they'll tell you, okay, here's what's going to happen. And it's completely opposite of what the mainstream says. So that makes them a critical thinker simply because they're saying something different than the mainstream. But then when you Google it, all the other freaks out there are saying the same thing. The earthquake's going to hit us in December because it happened in 1812. Well, that's not critical thinking. That's just regurgitating the same garbage that somebody else said. And so when you read it for the 7,000th time on Google or Facebook or one of those social media sites, you're like, that's not critical thinking. Critical thinking is don't be gullible. That's the first thing. Don't be gullible. But I tend to think I like to maybe critical think a little bit every now and then. Think outside the box. You know, everybody says you got to be prepared. You got to prep. You got to have a stockpile of food. You got to have a bunker. You've got to have water, ammo, and they come up with all these scenarios that someone else has already told them. And I say no. I'm not going to stockpile. What I'm going to do, which is completely different than what the mainstream says you should do, which is go out, get a mortgage, a new car, get a job. And I'm not going to do what the conspiracy theorists say, the preppers, and stockpile and spend all my money on garbage. I'm going to minimize my life. Reduce what I need. That way, if something breaks, I got a lot less to fix. I mean, what do I got to fix around here? A little tiny house costs $5,000. A camper that I can replace. I got some chickens. As long as they're putting out eggs, it may not be all the food I need, but boy, it sure is a heck of a start. It's a good place to start to have so many eggs and so many chickens. It gives me time to figure out what I'm going to do. So I think differently, which makes me a critical thinker. I don't just regurgitate what other people are saying. Whether the mainstream media is saying it or whether the conspiracy theorists are saying it, I go completely in a different direction. And that's what they call outside of the box thinking. If you are hearing other people say it, change your thinking. Completely. Don't think of like either group because they're both nuts. One wants you to be so gullible that you completely rely on the government. The other one wants you to be completely gullible that you're out there spending all your money on fiction. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to that video where I was talking about the earthquake yesterday. So if I can inspire you to don't be afraid, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.